For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Welcome to another edition of the Focus program. My name is Paul Dingeman. Glad to have you along. We are moving along in the month of January, and we've got a really interesting show lined up for you today. We're going to talk about some sturgeon and some baby sturgeon that you can come and look at and see even from your home. And then we'll be joining the publisher of a brand new magazine in the Blue Water area, Patti Samar. So good show coming up for you. Lydia, nice to see you. Welcome back to the Focus show. Nice to see you. Nicholas, right?
Nicholas, yes.
Nicholas. You are with a great group of people called the Friends of the St. Clair River. You've been here before.
Yep.
How have you been?
I've been good. Thanks for asking.
Talk to me about the baby sturgeon.
Yeah, so we've recently had the privilege of partnering with RISA to have a live sturgeon cam.
Live sturgeon?
That's right, yes. So it's live 24 hours a day. So that these two baby sturgeon that we have living in our office, now you can see them anywhere in the world.
Well, if the control room will throw that picture up, we'll show people exactly what we're talking about. Your office, and there they are. Now they went out of the picture frame, of course.
Of course.
But they'll come back here in a second. Where is this tank?
So this is in our office at the Thumbcoast Watershed Center, which is held in the old Eddy Elementary building over on 9th Street in St.
On
Clair.
9th Street. And I can walk in and see them physically myself?
Absolutely, yep. They're right in our window, right when you walk in the door. So even when nobody's in the office, you can still see what they're up to.
Have they disappeared on us? I think they have. They took a break. There they go. There's
yep.
one right there. And there are two of them. Okay, we're looking at a live picture from Eddy, the old Eddy Elementary. How big are those in real life?
So right now, these two that we have in our office are about 7 or 8 inches.
Okay.
And by the time we release them, they'll probably be just over a foot long. And we'll be releasing them in June at our Sturgeon Festival on June 3rd.
Now, I understand that you have a naming contest for these two?
That's right, yes. Until January 27th, we have a naming contest where anyone can enter any number of names to potentially name one of the sturgeon and have the possibility to earn a $50 gift card.
Oh, wonderful. 50 bucks. I always like 50 bucks.
Oh, yeah.
Have you gotten some applications already?
Oh, yeah. Yep, we've gotten some great applications so far. And
we won't share those.
Not yet, not yet.
Okay, so the Sturgeon Festival is in June. Mm-hmm. And give me a little bit of history about sturgeon in the St. Clair River and what happens in June.
Yeah, so sturgeon used to be very, very abundant in the area, but due to a bunch of human impacts like overfishing, sturgeon are now at 1% of their historical population. So it's definitely decreased a lot, but thankfully, the St. Clair River has one of the healthiest populations of lake sturgeon left. So in June, they come back to their home river that they were born in, the St. Clair River, to spawn. And so that's why we hold our Sturgeon Festival in June, so that we can celebrate their sturgeon birthdays and bring awareness to them in the St. Clair River.
And the spawning is, if I'm correct, is right underneath the Blue Water Bridge?
That's right, yep.
And that's because of the current that is strongest there?
Mm-hmm, yep. They're all throughout the St. Clair River, but they do need that current, and we have a few artificial reefs that are spread throughout the St. Clair River into the Lake St. Clair that they use as their spawning grounds.
We've seen your two, and they're 6 or 7 inches.
Right.
Historically, how big do sturgeons get?
They can get up to 6 feet long.
6 feet?
Yep. They get pretty big, over 200 pounds.
Wow. Now, they're really not an edible fish, are they?
They can be, but there's a lot of restrictions on fishing for them. So there is a specific season for fishing for them, and fishermen are only allowed to harvest 1 sturgeon per year and there's a bunch of regulations on the size of sturgeon that you're allowed to harvest and the season for that.
At the time of spawning, do you have numbers of how many sturgeon are at the bottom of the St. Clair River, underneath the Blue Water Bridge? I've heard thousands.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of them.
You haven't been down there in diving gear to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
I have not, but I have been able to join U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service on their boat as they're collecting sturgeon for tagging as well as collecting eggs to send to fisheries for hatching.
Just amazing.
Absolutely.
Something we didn't know we had about the St. Clair River and the Blue Water area. Home for sturgeon.
That's right, and that's why we have our Sturgeon in the Classroom program, is to educate kids especially about the sturgeon that once were abundant in the area and no longer are as abundant as they once were, but we're regaining that population, thankfully.
You work for an organization called the Friends of the St. Clair River. This happens to be their annual report. Your new office is at 301 North 9th Street in St. Clair. Give me a thumbnail sketch of what else you do during the year.
Yeah, so we do a lot of different things. We like to say we're out in the field all 52 weeks of the year. And so we have a lot of different restoration and monitoring projects. That's part of our big mission here, is restoration, monitoring, and education about the natural features around us. So we do restoration work like removing invasive species and planting native species. We also do butterfly monitoring, and we help with different sturgeon related things. We also were a part of the spongy moth program this past year. So we do a lot of different things around the entire county in regards to restoration, monitoring, and education.
You're busy.
Oh yeah.
How can people help?
Yeah, so we have a lot of different volunteer opportunities. If you're specifically interested in sturgeon, you can join our Sturgeon Squad, which is our team of volunteers that is specifically for sturgeon work, like working at Sturgeon Festival, as well as helping with some of our partners like U.S. Fish and Wildlife and the DNR when they do different sturgeon work and tagging and the like. But we have a lot of different volunteer opportunities. There's a little something for everyone.
Okay, and they can get a hold of you at, let me see if I got the number here. The easiest one is scriver.org, that'll have all the information.
Yep.
scriver.org, and that's an easy one. Great organization. We're glad to support you anytime you got anything did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
Always good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you too. Thank you for having me on.
Patti Samar, that is the lady's name. She'll be along next, right after this. Well, it's really nice to have a friend come in and have an interview. That lady's name is, I just forgot, is Patti Samar.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome back to CTV television.
Thank you for having me.
We go back a couple years.
Yeah, more than
a long time of years.
Yep.
And we sort of followed each other's career for all that time. You were public relations director for St. John's River District Hospital for a number of years, and did a show here called Healthy Perspectives with
St. John River District
RDH
Hospital.
or something like River District Hospital.
Yep.
We did that for 4 or 5 years.
At least 5, yeah.
5 years?
Yep.
And as I said to your husband, Dale, I could never understand how you pronounced all those medical names.
Just had to learn, it was part of the job.
You inspired me. And from that, you went on to a magazine which you are a publisher of, which has done some great work in the Blue Water area, called Blue Water Women. And you have awards every year that give out to
Coming up this year in March.
In March, okay. And now you have come along and decided to, not retire or not do anything yourself. You wanted to add a new responsibility, and it's called Thumbcoast Senior. Exciting.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, I think part of the success of Blue Water Woman magazine has been that it has been around for 11 years. It is a niche magazine that it appeals, it focuses on one part of the community, and people I've been fortunate in that they've, glommed onto it and followed it. And I own an advertising agency as well. And through
The Right Company.
Right. Through the Right Company, I started encountering clients who wanted to reach the senior market, quite a few clients. And there was no one great place to place their advertising that was focused exclusively on seniors. And seniors are a different market because some of them are online and really comfortable with being online and Facebook and social media and all over the internet. My 86-year-old dad still buys things online and stuff. But then there are others who, like my mother, total opposite, won't touch a computer. So it's a really, at this point in time, internet advertising, which is where a lot of people focus their efforts right now, it doesn't always reach the senior market. But people still, I've found through Blue Water Woman, enjoy picking up a local community magazine that has stories about local people and things of local interest.
Well, they've seen them around the community, and as you said, it's a niche. It's like this Channel 6 is sort of a niche.
Right.
I mean, we cover Marine City and St. Clair. We know Port Huron exists. We know Algonac exists, but that's not our main interest. Our main interest is here. So this is the same thing for you. It's a senior Thumbcoast magazine, and it really is a niche that's needed, I think.
Yeah, and we cover stories in both publications. We cover stories all over St. Clair County. For example, in Thumbcoast Senior next week, my husband, who helps me produce the second magazine, and I are going down to Marine City to work on a story together about a new Veterans Museum that the Council on Aging has replaced. So that's just an example of we don't just cover people in Port Huron. We're trying to make sure we cover different areas of the county and find out what's going on.
How does a person get the publication?
They're available all over the county, free of charge. You can find them in restaurants and doctors' offices and other beauty salons, other kinds of businesses. I have a trusty delivery guy, also known as my husband,
right,
who drives all over the county for me every time we have an issue.
He likes to eat, so that's why he will do those functions.
He will,
as long as the food keeps coming.
And not only does he drive around and deliver them, but he does write some of the stories as well. So I'm very thankful for his help.
So what's next after
Thumbcoast?
I mean, one of your other major interests in your life is sailing.
Yeah, I love to sail.
And you've been in Mackinac how many times?
I did 10 Mackinac races.
How many?
10.
10. Okay. And I know you always get away from it and then you go back.
Yeah, I don't do as much competitive sailing as I used to at this point, but I still go out on the boat several times, throughout the summer. I'm kind of a fair weather sailor at this point.
And then you guys live up in beautiful Sherman Woods,
Yep.
and you were very active in raising some money for the Salvation Army in the last couple of years.
Yep.
And talk to me about that whole display thing.
The Christmas lights?
Just amazing.
The Christmas lights started just a few years before we moved into Sherman Woods 8 years ago. And everybody, there's 63 houses there. We all put up our own decorations, and then there are some community decorations that people join together and help put up, all the lighted balls and the trees.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
And what we do is it started with like 1 or 2 weekends, and now it's every weekend in December, including Christmas Eve. We work with the Salvation Army. They bring out our red kettle. We ring the bell. Neighbors volunteer an hour or two of their time each weekend, and my husband actually plays Santa Claus on our assigned shifts.
We won't tell the kids that.
Oh, no. He's just one of Santa's helpers, right? But, so it's really, really super fun. The whole neighborhood gets into it, and if we knew we started doing that because we knew we had a lot of traffic coming through the neighborhood, and we thought, well, if there's some way we can help
That's right.
the community with all this traffic, like make good use of it, that we would do that. And people have been extremely, extremely generous.
It's such a delight to drive through there. And
it's fun.
It's a lot of work to put all those up and take them down and get the electric and all that kind of stuff. It's a labor of love, obviously, but
our electric bill's a little higher during the Christmas season.
I'm happy for you because you are a good writer. You always have been a good writer.
Thanks.
And then to take the successes of the first magazine and go to a second one, that's just great. So if people have questions about advertising, how do they get a hold of you? Just
You
through
can-
the magazine?
Yeah, all my contact information is available inside the magazine. And it's also available. I do not have a website for Thumbcoast Senior, but I do for Blue Water Woman. So it's Blue Water Woman, WOMAN.com. And all my contact information is there.
And what's next? We'll just wait and see.
That's right. You never know.
And do you want to come back and do a health show again?
Oh, I would love to. That would be super fun. I always learned a lot.
Oh yeah, you did. I was producing it at the time and directing it and all that kind of stuff. And I'd sit in the control room and go, I don't know what they're talking about, but it really sounds interesting.
Sounds interesting. Yep.
So,
Yeah. Thank
Patti,
you.
thanks.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
so
for having us.
Oh, it's not a.
Yep.
I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here.
Thank
We'll
you.
have you back.
Thank you.
That's about it for this edition of the Focus program. Thanks very much for tuning. Until next time, I am Paul Dingeman. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingeman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.